Let's see what happens. All right, good morning, hey there, friends. Today we are going to talk about boring, and hopefully it's not too boring. All right, I hear the groans out there, but cut me some slack. This is a traditional woodworking channel, and every woodworker who has ever made a video about boring has used a silly joke like that. So I'm a sucker for tradition, so what can I say? So today we're going to talk about boring, which is another name for drilling. Commonly we say drilling, but traditionally they say boring. And to do that, we are going to look at the teacher's handbook of Sloyd, and we are specifically going to see exercises 11 and 14. So let me get the other camera around and see if you can actually see that. All right. So exercise 11, let's see if I can hold it steady so you can actually read it. Exercise 11 is boring with the shell bit, and it is to make a hole of a small diameter. Exercise 14 is boring with the center bit, and that's to make a hole of a larger diameter. Now we're going to deviate. We're going to deviate from that a little bit because I don't have any shell bits and really have no desire to buy any shell bits. I will pick some up if I happen to come across some for a really reasonable price. But today for the small diameter drilling or boring, we're going to be using the egg beater drill. This is a fun little tool that everybody should have. So we're going to use the egg beater tool, and we are going to use the traditional brace and bit set. So before we get into the actual boring, let's talk a little bit more about the tools themselves. All right, swing this other camera back around. Let's see if we can get a better look at this. So first of all, we have the egg beater drill, and you can pick these up at garage sales and estate sales, things like that, even maybe an antique mall. They are ridiculously cheap. All right. I have this one right here that I purposely left the price tag on just to show you. I bought this at an estate sale on day number 2, which means the price was reduced. I don't remember whether it was 25% off or 50% off, but it was less than $3. All right. So the other egg beater drill I got, or the other couple of got, I ended up buying in a box of old tools. And if you average out what I spent, they come to about between $2 and $3 a piece. All right. This one right here, you can see the handle busted off, but somebody has replaced it with a screwdriver handle, but it is perfectly functional. There is nothing wrong with it. It's not original, but for a couple of bucks. All right. This one right here is all original. The only difference is some of the paint's flaking off, but that doesn't matter. So how do you use the egg beater drill? Well, what I like to do is just kind of hold this right here, kind of lock it in place. If you don't, this thing is going to spin willy-nilly on you. So hold it in tight, and you twist this, and you use just standard drill bits. You can see this is a box of drill bits I picked up from one of the big box stores. It's got everything that you need, but these egg beater drills actually use those bits. So that's why it is really, really handy. Operates on a 3-jaw system just like a modern drill. So if you have some little ones, some young woodworkers that you would really like to get into woodworking, look at one of these tools. They're just a fun little tool. We use this for diameters up to 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so the bigger the diameter of the bit, the more work it's going to take. But this is good for diameters up to 1/4 of an inch. All right, I'm not even sure which one I pulled out of there. For the brace, now this is actually another fun tool in my opinion. This one, you can see I have done no restoration on it whatsoever other than lubricating the jaw here. This operates off a 2-jaw system, okay? And this particular one has a ratcheting mechanism, okay? So, you know, you can do that if you want. Personally, I don't really use the ratcheting system. Here I am trying to ratchet and I don't even have this thing all the way in properly. See, there we go. Now we're ratcheting. All right. It may come in handy. I personally never use the ratcheting part of it, but again, this is off the shelf right here. Okay, so you got this pad. When you're looking at things, you want to make sure that the jaw works. You have both jaws, and it's going to get a nice grip there. You want to have this handle in place because this is what allows you to hold it and spin, and you need to have a pad here that spins properly. Okay, but again, you can pick these up. Here's another one I picked up at a yard sale. I believe this one came out of a yard sale. Again, it is fully intact, fully original, and I've done nothing for it. Oh, why do I have more than one? I'm glad you asked that question. Good question. I'm glad you asked it. I'm actually trying to assemble 5 complete sets of these tools, and the reason for that is one of these days I actually hope to open up a school or a program, if you will, to get kids into woodworking. And I figured in order to do that, I need to have 5 complete sets of tools. I need 1 for the instructor and at least 4 for students. That way each of the students can have their own. So yes, I do have more than one. In fact, I have 3 braces and I have 3 egg beater drills, so I need 2 more of each. But what I am not going to have multiple sets of is the bits themselves. These are a little bit pricier. These are a little bit harder to find. I was fortunate enough to pick up a complete set out of an antique mall. Again, let's swing around here so you can get a better look at that. All right, I got a complete set out of the antique mall. And these are numbered, so they don't have inches on them, but they are numbered from 4 through 16. All right. So this one right here, let's see if we can pull it out. If I can get you close enough, see that number 8 right there? That means it is 8/16. That means this is now a 1/2 inch bit. And it ranges all the way from a 1/4 inch to 1 inch. So this is why we say egg beater for anything under a 1/4 inch, brace and bit for anything over a 1/4 inch. So how do you use this? Well, notice this triangle shape here. That is designed to go inside here. And as you clamp this down, okay, as you clamp this down, the jaws now come around that, almost like a clamshell, comes around that triangle and locks in. All right, let's talk a little bit about the bits themselves. We see we got this screw point here. And this actually, as you are boring into the wood, this screw point pulls the bit in and actually makes it easier to cut. You got these little wings here, which are nickers, and then you've got your flutes. Now, my personal preference is the Irwin bits. And the only reason that they're my personal preference is because I lived in Wilmington, Ohio for a while, and you can see, can you see that right there? Irwin Auger Bit Company was actually founded in Wilmington, Ohio, and Wilmington is where these bits were made for many, many years. In fact, I can't find the exact date they quit making them, but I believe they were made well into the 60s. Okay? That means you can get sets of Irwin auger bits that are not true antiques for a fairly reasonable price. More often, though, you're going to find these in individual pieces. You're going to find a 1/4 inch one here, a 1/2 inch one there. There's other companies that made auger bits and they work just fine. But I am a little bit partial to the Irwin just because when I was living in Ohio, I knew people that worked for the Irwin company. Now the name Irwin you might recognize. Same company, same company. This is how they started. This is what happened to them after they sold to the American Tool Company, and then of course all their production was moved overseas to China. All right, but I really, really like these vintage style auger bits. All right, so how do you use one? Let's back out just a little bit further so we can get a better view of this. How do you use the auger bit? Well, by the way, you'll probably notice I got a table here. I don't have my workbench. I've actually taken the workbench apart. I'm going to put some new legs on it. It's not time to do that right now, but I'm going to put some new legs on it because it's a little bit wobbly. I want to sturdy it up. So I also want to point out that you don't have to have a big workbench to be able to do woodworking. Any solid surface is going to work. So this is a table I bought from a used furniture place. And in order to do your woodworking, you just have to be able to clamp it to a solid surface. So let's take our Irwin clamps here and see if we can just get a good grip on this thing. All right, look at that, nice and solid. The underside of the table is very smooth, so sometimes when that happens, you'll get some twisting there. So I did bring a second clamp just in case I need it. All right, egg beater drill. Can't get any easier than this. You just hold it, put it in place, turn the knob. All right. This really is designed for a right-handed person. You know, turn the knob on the right side like this, but if you're a left-handed person, you're just going to have to go backwards, but it still works. All right, but I guess I'm good enough with my right hand. It goes straight through. Boom. Look at that. Nice and easy. Standard drill bits that you buy at any hardware store or home improvement store goes right through. All right. So this is fine. This is, horizontal surface, vertical hole, no problem. What do you do on your table if you want to drill a vertical hole? If for some reason you need to do a vertical. Well, this is where you're going to have to get a little bit more creative. Just a little bit more creative. What I've got is this screw vise or screw clamp. Again, you can find these anywhere. You can actually find these as vintage items. But be careful with the vintage ones. It's not that they're bad. They're great. It's just that the brand new ones, they still sell these the exact same pattern as the old ones. And a lot of times you can buy brand new ones for cheaper than you can buy the vintage ones because people say hey, it's vintage, it's got the patina on it. They want to put it on a shelf somewhere, so they drive the price up. Collectors. So just be careful, all right? You can buy these on sale. You can buy them from Harbor Freight. You can all kinds of places. So how do you use these things? Well, because this is a twin screw clamp, you want the tip to pinch in and you want the back to pinch out, and that or to spread out, and that causes more force on there. See what happened? I just brought the back in, caused the piece to drop. Should have gone the other way. All right. All right, so that's in there nice and firm. But what do you do about this? Well, this is where you get your Irwin clamps out again, or whatever clamp you're using. And you just clamp this to the table. All right, now you have a nice solid surface. So you come in with your bit, same thing, a little bit of firm pressure, and off you go. And look at that. It only takes a few seconds to get through. Now there's a lot of advantages to this over a power drill. It takes a little bit longer, but if you've got small holes, especially in delicate pieces, you can control the pressure, you can control the speed, and it's actually will give you a very clean hole. So, I mean, seriously, think about this. Think about this. All right, what about the auger bit? All right, tell you what, let's move this around just a little bit. All right, maybe you get a better view that way. Well, the auger bit is very similar, except what you want to do is take this pad right here, put it right here. Keep the auger bit as level as you can. Ooh, I got to be careful. That's not the right spot. All right. Hold this firm and start to twist. Let the drill do the work. All right, it's already starting to bite in. Okay. Let me spin this camera around over here, see if we can get a picture of that. All right, can you see that? I know it's not the best camera angle, but it's the best I can do. All right, hold, hand goes here, holds the pad in place. Start twisting. Just let the bit do the work. Now you can go fast. There's nothing wrong with going fast, but you want to go, you don't want to put a lot of pressure on it. You actually want to let the drill do the work. Okay, nice and easy. See how it's just chewing that out, chewing that up. All right, now that I'm through, the screw no longer has anything to pull onto. So this is where, if you have a nice heavy bench, this comes in handy because you don't have to put any additional pressure, but because I'm on a table which will spin on me, I am going to have to go in through there. All right, let's see what the results were. All right, I don't know if you can see this. I don't know if the camera is picking it up very well, but see that right there? That's called blowout. And that happens when as the auger bit comes through, that very last piece there, it just blows it out. And there's a couple of ways we can deal with this. Okay, so the first way is, let's get this back in here. Clamp that down. See how this is still rocking a little bit? This is where we might want to get the other clamp out. Okay. All right, so a couple of things we can do. First of all, let's start in here. Come. Look at that. See how that twists? Means I need to get my well, that certainly was not on the agenda at all. Had no intention of that happening. Thank goodness for shock absorbing cases. All right. You come in from this side. All right. This is where the ratcheting thing actually, I don't like. All right, look at the clamp. See how it's narrow here and wider there? We got to fix that. Let's take the clamps off. All right, so let's see if we can get these jaws. See, now the jaws are a little bit more parallel. I think we're going to get a better grip there. So we'll do that. Nope, you're still going to be able to see okay. All right. And I don't like that either. Let's get the handle underneath here. All right. Back in the hole. Off we go. Get my ratcheting back in place. All right, so we go until we get through here. Can you see that? See that right there? The point is just now starting to come through. So what we would do is either flip the board around or we would come in from the other side. All right. Now, because that screw isn't going to have as much to bite on now, we're probably going to have to hold this in place a little bit. And again, yeah, there we go. Now I have a nice clean hole on both sides. There's another trick that would have caused you to not have to flip back and forth. And that is putting a sacrificial piece like this. Oh, dadgum. I have never had this happen before. Now, twice in one video. While it was being recorded, too. Too much vibration, I guess. So, we come in here with these real cheap detail clamps. And we do the exact same thing. Okay. Now this time, we don't need to switch and come in from the other side because we've got that sacrificial piece behind us. You just, again, let the bit do the work. Let the bit. Am I all the way through? I am all the way through. So let's all right. Take this off. Take this off. So you can see from the front side, nice clean holes. Nice clean holes. On the back side, We got tear out there. No tear out on either one of these. Both of these are nice, clean, crisp. So especially if you're dealing with soft woods or woods that easily splinter. An oak is a perfect example. The oak splinters because of the grain pattern. Oak splinters quite a bit. So two options. Come in from one side, finish off on the other side, or two, put a sacrificial piece behind it and let that do the work. All right, friends, I think that is going to wrap it up for boring, exercises 11 and 14 in the Teacher's Handbook of Sloyd. Great tools for young woodworkers. These are great tools for young woodworkers. So if you got some young ones out there that are interested, go scrounge around in some yard sales, some state sales, things like that. Pick you up a couple of these tools and let them have some fun. All right, friends, thanks for sticking with me. Take care. God bless.